Have you ever noticed how a bad day suddenly feels manageable after buying something new? That dopamine hit when you click purchase, the brief euphoria of unboxing a package, the temporary escape from whatever stress was weighing you down. Welcome to retail therapy, where shopping carts become emotional support systems and credit card swipes transform into psychological band-aids. But here's what's fascinating. This phenomenon isn't just about wanting nice things, it's a complex psychological dance between our brains, our emotions, and a consumer culture that's been carefully designed to capitalize on both. Today, we're diving deep into why shopping became our go-to coping mechanism, how our minds trick us into thinking we're solving problems when we're often creating new ones, and most importantly, how understanding this psychology can actually improve both your mental health and your bank account. The term retail therapy might sound modern, but humans have been using material purchases to regulate emotions for centuries. What's changed is the scale, the accessibility, and the sophisticated ways that marketers now tap into our psychological vulnerabilities. Every app notification, every flash sale, every limited-time offer is strategically engineered to trigger specific emotional responses in our brains. Let's start with the brain chemistry. When you're browsing online or walking through a store, your brain releases dopamine, not when you actually buy something, but in anticipation of buying it. This is the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction, which explains why scrolling through shopping apps can feel so compulsive. Your brain literally gets high from the possibility of purchase, but dopamine is just the opening act. When you actually complete a purchase, especially for something you've been wanting, your brain floods with serotonin and endorphins. These feel-good chemicals create a genuine sense of happiness and accomplishment. For a brief moment, you've solved a problem, even if that problem was just feeling sad, stressed, or bored. This biological response explains why retail therapy can feel so effective in the moment. You're not imagining the mood boost, it's chemically real. The problem is that it's also chemically temporary. Like any quick fix, the effects wear off, often leaving you in the same emotional state you started in, just with less money and more stuff. The psychology gets even more interesting when we consider how shopping activates our sense of control and identity. When life feels chaotic, making purchasing decisions can restore a feeling of agency. You're choosing colors, styles, brands, sizes. You're making active decisions about your environment and your image. In a world where so much feels out of our control, shopping offers an accessible way to exercise choice and express personality. Take someone like Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. Her character became a cultural icon, partly because she embodied this relationship between shopping and identity so explicitly. Carrie famously declared she had no money because she spent it all on shoes, yet her apartment was her sanctuary and her wardrobe was her armor. The show aired during the peak of credit card culture in the late 90s and early 2000s, when consumer debt was skyrocketing, but so was the cultural message that you could buy your way to a better version of yourself. What made Carrie's shopping addiction so relatable wasn't just the glamour, but the emotional logic behind it. She shopped when she was heartbroken, confused about her career, or questioning her relationships. Each purchase was an attempt to solve an emotional problem with a material solution. The tragedy wasn't that she loved beautiful things, but that she'd outsourced her emotional regulation to her credit card. This external regulation of internal states is what makes retail therapy so seductive and so problematic. Instead of developing healthy coping mechanisms for stress, sadness, or anxiety, we learn to medicate these feelings with purchases. Over time, this can actually weaken our natural ability to process difficult emotions, creating a psychological dependence on shopping for mood management. The fashion and retail industries have become incredibly sophisticated at exploiting these psychological patterns. Fast fashion brands like Shein or Zara operate on constant newness, ensuring there's always something fresh to trigger that dopamine response. Social media influencers create artificial urgency around products, making followers feel like they'll miss out on happiness if they don't buy immediately. Even the language of marketing has evolved to target our emotional vulnerabilities. Products aren't just sold as functional items anymore. They're positioned as solutions to lifestyle problems. That face mask isn't just skincare, it's self-care. Those workout clothes aren't just athletic wear, they're your transformation waiting to happen. That home decor isn't just furniture, it's the key to becoming the person you want to be. But perhaps the most insidious aspect of retail therapy culture is how it preys on our comparison tendencies. Social media creates an endless stream of curated lifestyles to measure ourselves against, and shopping offers a quick way to close the gap between who we are and who we think we should be. See someone with a beautiful home office? Buy some decorative plants and organizational systems. Notice everyone wearing a particular style? Add it to your cart and feel instantly more current. This comparison shopping creates what psychologists call hedonic adaptation. No matter what you buy, you quickly adjust to owning it, and the happiness it provided fades back to baseline. Meanwhile, you're exposed to new images, new products, new lifestyle aspirations, creating an endless cycle of wanting, buying, adapting, and wanting again. The financial implications are staggering. The average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt, much of it accumulated through impulse purchases and emotional spending. But the psychological cost might be even higher. When shopping becomes your primary coping mechanism, you miss opportunities to develop real emotional resilience and problem-solving skills. Consider how retail therapy often works in reverse to actual therapy. Real therapeutic work involves sitting with difficult emotions, understanding their sources, and developing healthy ways to process them. Retail therapy teaches you to immediately escape difficult emotions by buying something, which provides temporary relief but no lasting resolution. This creates a particular kind of financial stress that compounds the original emotional problems. You buy something to feel better, which temporarily works, but then you feel guilty about spending money you shouldn't have spent, which makes you feel worse, which triggers more shopping as a way to cope with the new bad feelings. It's a cycle that can quickly spiral out of control. The rise of online shopping and social commerce has made this cycle faster and more accessible than ever before. You can now go from feeling stressed to making a purchase in under 30 seconds. Buy now, pay later options remove even the immediate financial consequences, allowing you to shop your feelings without facing the reality of your spending until much later. But understanding the psychology behind retail therapy also reveals the path toward healthier alternatives. The key insight is that the emotions driving your shopping are valid and deserve attention. They just need better solutions. When you feel the urge to shop emotionally, that's actually valuable information about your internal state. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and need more organization in your life, but instead of buying organizing products, you could spend time decluttering what you already own. Maybe you're feeling disconnected from your identity, but instead of buying new clothes, you could explore creative hobbies or reconnect with old interests. The goal isn't to never enjoy shopping or to feel guilty about every purchase. Shopping can be a legitimate source of pleasure and self-expression when done mindfully and within your means. The problem arises when shopping becomes your default response to emotional discomfort. Some people find success in implementing waiting periods before major purchases, giving their emotions time to settle and their rational minds time to engage. Others create specific budgets for discretionary spending, allowing themselves the pleasure of occasional retail therapy without the financial stress. The most effective approach often involves building alternative coping strategies that provide similar benefits to shopping without the financial cost. Exercise releases many of the same feel-good chemicals as shopping. Creative projects provide the same sense of control and self-expression. Social connections offer the same identity reinforcement and mood boost. What's particularly powerful about addressing retail therapy from a psychological perspective is that it often improves both your financial health and your emotional well-being simultaneously. When you develop better coping mechanisms for stress and sadness, you naturally spend less money on impulse purchases. When you understand the marketing psychology designed to manipulate your emotions, you become more resistant to it. This brings us to your money move for this week, and it's probably not what you'd expect. Instead of telling you to create a budget or cut up your credit cards, here's what I want you to try. Create an emotional shopping receipt. For the next week, before you make any non-essential purchase, pause and write down the emotion you're feeling that's driving the desire to buy. Are you stressed about work? Feeling insecure about your appearance? bored on a Sunday afternoon, trying to cheer yourself up after a difficult conversation? Write it down like an itemized receipt: product you want to buy, price, and the emotional reason behind the impulse. You don't have to stop yourself from buying, just document the pattern. Here's the twist. For each emotional reason you identify, also write down one free alternative activity that could address the same underlying need. Feeling stressed? Maybe a 10-minute walk outside. Feeling insecure? Perhaps calling a supportive friend. Feeling bored? Could be organizing your existing belongings or trying a new recipe with ingredients you already have. This exercise accomplishes 3 things. It builds awareness of your emotional spending triggers, it creates a pause between impulse and action that often reduces unnecessary purchases naturally, and it develops a personalized toolkit of alternative coping strategies that cost nothing but often work better than shopping. After a week of tracking, you'll have a clear picture of your personal retail therapy patterns and a custom list of healthier alternatives. Many people find that simply becoming aware of the emotions driving their spending reduces impulse purchases by 30 to 50% without feeling deprived or restricted. The beauty of understanding retail therapy psychology is that knowledge truly is power. When you recognize that your urge to shop is often your mind's attempt to solve an emotional problem, you can address the real issue instead of just treating the symptom. Your wallet will thank you, but more importantly, you'll develop genuine emotional resilience that serves you far beyond your bank account. Shopping will always be part of modern life, but it doesn't have to be your therapist. Understanding why we shop emotionally is the first step toward making conscious choices about when, how, and why we spend our money. And that understanding can transform not just your financial health, but your relationship with yourself. If this opened your eyes to the psychology behind retail therapy, you'll want to keep going. The next video digs into another hidden pattern, shaping your relationship with money in ways you might not even notice. I'll see you there.